15 years of anime is a long ass time, but that's actually what a generation is, 15 years. And that's when then a whole new set of people come through and, make society worse and worse. But when it comes down to it though, I do want to talk about, the amount of different shows and much less the amount of different women that has came through in anime as the years kind of progressed. Keep in mind, this is the era when anime first started getting popular, and now it's trying to get to an era where we might have to see what changes might happen to anime, which honestly horrifies the shit out of me, and I'm not looking forward to that at all. But when it comes down to it though, yeah, I do want to talk about it because, again, 15 years is a long time, and there's a lot of characters that honestly I'm not going to be able to mention everybody in this damn video for, but at least what I mentioned was I feel like it's important to me, and at least some that have been important just as time gone on. And if not important, then at least the ones that was like extremely popular throughout this last 15 years of anime, right? So let's just quickly go over a few of these, right? So obviously you can't necessarily start about this whole era, especially if you're not really thinking about the internet side of things. You can't necessarily start this whole era of just anime getting popular and really just starting out with the memes and such if you're not bringing in, guys sides of things, because this is where the yandere shit began. When it comes down to it, this is why a lot of people like yandere characters, or at least back then they do. I don't know if people still like them now, but when it comes down to it, kind of started a lot of nonsense, right? And yes, you could easily say that, people like Higurashi and, that show kind of came through with some stuff, but no one did it like Yuno did. I mean, did you see that she almost destroyed the entire damn world at one point at the end of the damn show? I don't see nobody in Higurashi doing that bullshit. And the thing is, is sexy. There is a few characters in this show that is kind of bad and fine, but when it comes down to it though, I don't even know what to say. This girl's a little too damn crazy. Again, she wouldn't be popular if it wasn't for the fact that she was that damn crazy. Now, a character that meant much to me is obviously Madaka Kurakami, because while not a lot of people know about Madaka box like that, still to this day, unfortunately, I do have to throw down and appreciate this character. Really for one damn thing, and it's the fact that it made me realize that, oh shit, female characters can actually be really good main characters too. Right? And they're not just there just to back up the male main character or anything like that. They could actually hold their own. They can be sexy and still be badass and whoop your ass if you have something to disagree with them about, honestly. So, I can appreciate that when it comes to Madaka. Also, her forms is pretty damn nice. I'm pretty sure anybody would like to just run the ones with somebody if they was in War God mode as well, right? And while that's not everything I want to say about her, to me, to be perfectly honest, she just means a lot to me. So when it comes down to it, I just really wanted to put that out there because, again, not a lot of people know about Madaka Box and things like that, and I still want to season 3. But when it comes down to it, though, Madaka is out here, did shit that I didn't think was possible for a female protagonist to do, and yet she did it, honestly. But speaking about Madaka and her anime that came out in 2012, you want to know what other anime came out in 2012? High School DxD, which makes a lot of sense why I like Koniko now, and both of them in the same point in time. But when it comes down to it though, obviously, why I want to mention Koniko, and obviously Koniko is bae and there ain't no change in that for me, I do feel like we have to throw this to Rias, because Rias is obviously like the face, I would say, of harem anime when it comes down to it, or at least what can be good harem anime in a way. Because the moment someone thinks of a harem anime or an ecchi show, the first damn thing you're thinking of is High School DxD. Like, she's synonymous when it comes down to it, and when it comes down to a lot of other shows that go, borderline H and all this sort of stuff, that's like the first show anybody would think about, right? And if you were to really put them on like a, a Mount Rushmore or a top 5 list or anything like that, she has to be there. And if not her, her series has to be there, because yeah, this is, where a lot of the harem stuff kind of exploded from. And while harem stuff is kind of not necessarily the, most sought after thing in the world, unfortunately, it's still something that I feel like, has done a pretty slight decent job in some points in time, right? There's been some good harem shows that's been out there though, but nothing tops High School DxD, I don't think. So yeah, I do feel like we have to mention the Grimmery household if we ain't gonna mention anything else of this. Kill la Kill was also something that came out within the last 15 years too, and That show was kind of weird, not gonna hold you, but the show was also slapping, and honestly the show was really damn good, and I didn't think I was gonna like the show like that. And obviously Ryuko is like the person that I would say for that one that needs to be mentioned. I know a lot of people like Sasuke, I like Sasuke, but I would prefer Ryuko angry ass a bit more than I would say Sasuke, because I feel like Sasuke just has way too many high ass standards. But when it comes down to it though, there's damn near no type of way you could just not imagine this outfit, this character, and not think, oh, this character did not stand out, because they absolutely did. Cutting up through people's clothes and shit while being damn near barely wearing anything themselves, and yet still kind of one of the more badass characters that is out there as well. Unfortunately, her game was kind of trash, but still nonetheless, Ryuko was definitely, you know, top ace when it comes down to it too. Especially when it came down to just how weird that form could get sometimes, especially when she turns to a giant monster like that. I'm good. I'm all the way good. Also, I can't get the zone time animation on my brain now. So that was also like a thing. So, you know, Ryuko, she done a lot of skimpy ass shit, right? And I feel like a lot of people should put more respect on her name and remember that. Now, while I'm talking about all these damn characters and all these great ass shows, I do need to mention one show I have not finished, and I said I was gonna finish a long ass time ago, way before I started content creation, and I still haven't touched it back, and that's Mania Hiking Show. I should have finished this shit. I should have enjoyed Chiefus's giant ass breasts, honestly. I should have enjoyed this show, but I did not finish it, and I have no idea why. My ass is barely trying to, you know, struggle and just watch gushing for magical girls every week. Like, I have to watch the previous episode just to watch the last one that came out yesterday. But when it comes down to it though, that just kind of is what it is, you know. I kind of am like that, you know. Sometimes be like, oh, I'm gonna watch this damn show, immediately sometimes drop it, like I did Call of the Night, unfortunately, and might need to watch that. And also kind of how I did with Chain Soldier, unfortunately. I just wasn't necessarily too attached to the main character, honestly, so that just kind of is what it is. But for this show, I definitely do need to finish this one, because this one is just ridiculous. The more boob you have, the more governmental power you get. What kind of nonsense is that? So again, not every show is going to be, you know, possibly a hit, and maybe people even remember this damn show. But still, nonetheless, it is a show that I feel like I need to honestly finish and just give my thoughts about just a little bit, honestly, because boy, there's a lot of booba in that show, and how the hell did I not finish that shit? See, now we get into the later part of this video, and I'm already telling you that there's plenty of shows, again, I haven't mentioned, and even shows you probably never even heard of, which, like Mayo Shiki, which we did do a talking point on this channel before when it comes down to it, or Dog and Scissors, which that show was really good. You know, there's plenty of other shows that I haven't even mentioned, and some shows that came from games that switched to anime, you know, in certain aspects, like Danganronpa. And honestly, let's just go ahead and mention Junko real quick, because honestly, she just is like the crazy woman fever dream of all crazy women for some reason, because there is no limit on this woman that she cannot necessarily go to, which is utterly weird and insane for her. But you know, that is what it is. Have her damn sister get stabbed the hell up just in the first episode of what the hell is happening, and finally took her 5,000 years to get her to spray her own damn shit due to a collaboration. But when it comes down to it though, Junko was just an ass, a sexy ass, but an ass as a whole. Hell, I think it's also important to mention Monster Musume, because without Monster Musume, I feel like people wouldn't be ready and geared up with monster girls like they were for Interspecies Reviewer later down the line, honestly. So, you know, I feel like we have to think about that, honestly, with Mia and all the other characters, and Poppy and Rat and Air, and then go to Interspecies Reviewer. Gotta think of Metairie and her egg-laying skills, and I'm still hyped for that shit, honestly. Also saw, you know, a couple of pictures of egg-laying not too long ago, and I thought that was pretty damn good. So, you know, it is what it is when it comes down to it. I didn't even go as far as to mention Ediths and Deities and Miku's fine ass, because honestly, let's keep it a stack with each other, it's about damn time a female character comes through and wants some Shota dick. About damn time we see a female character actually be on some wild and shit more than ever before, and yet that show don't get a season 2, and that still has me pissed. And then you also gotta think about your shonen mainstreams, like your Nezuko's, which I didn't watch a lot of Demon Slayer, but I did like Nezuko, obviously, and Mitsuru as well, because, you know, might as well put Mitsuru on the damn list, because Jiggle physics, the game, she's literally jiggle physics, the woman. Why wouldn't you? And then also you got people like Ochako from the MHA and Toga as well, and the underrated Asame Hatsume, because no one has made any type of artwork at all, and it pisses me off. And now I'm just gonna be spitballing some names that just I think people should at least have heard about, like Maki from Jujutsu Kaisen, honestly, which I never seen a day in my life of. Or you basically have like, you know, Chainsaw Man with Makima, which is like the only fine woman in that damn show, if I'm being honest with you. Hell, I'll even chuck Yu-Gi-Oh on this bitch, because you also gotta realize back then in the early days, you had Tori Meadows, who is still one of the finest chicks in Yu-Gi-Oh of all time. I don't want to hear a word. And then you also had Yuzu coming through in Art 5, which I didn't necessarily watch a lot of Art 5, but still, Yuzu can get it as well. So it's like you've got some card game hoes to deal with, honestly. I think it'll also be ridiculous to not mention the literal gambling monster that is Kirari Momobami from Kagayuri, as well as to mention the most simped over elf chick of all time right now, which will be Frieren. So to be honest with you, if you're out here just saying that there is no waifus in the last 15 years of anime, much less there has been no good anime in the last 15 years, that's a lie. Because yes, while anime may not be as gritty and, you know, might look the same in some areas, and while, you know, a lot of shows might be forgotten in dusted history, unfortunately, more than ever now, it still shows you that yes, there is still good stories and good shows and edgy and crazy content that you can still find in anime, and that shit hopefully won't change as the next 15 years kind of come along. You miss the fact that there used to be, you know, shorter characters with the fattest of boobs. Here's Ilulu from Dragon Maid, have fun with that shit. You want to see Akira Toriyama levels of just gag manga nonsense that kind of runs around in certain shows? Cool, here's Fire Force with Tamaki, have fun. And while you could sit here and say that maybe anime doesn't necessarily excite you as an old long time veteran of the craft, and you know there ain't no shows that in here that really is as good as it used to be, maybe so, but at the same time, there is some excitement for other people, and people like myself that still do really give a shit about anime, honestly, and get them into parts of anime that I wasn't necessarily interested into before. Magical Girls series anytime soon? Nope, but thanks to Goshin for Magical Girls, I care about it now. Hell, even Dark Fantasy, while not necessarily my favorite cup of tea, still has things like Redo a Healer for you to go watch. Even if it's not necessarily that great, it's still something that you can go watch and, you know, kind of enjoy. And maybe if you just want an ecchi show that is slow as hell, that maybe Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World is something that's more your idea for, you know, what you want to see, you know? A very good paced out show, honestly. But when it comes down to it though, again, there's just still plenty of shows that is out there, plenty of shows for you to enjoy, and probably plenty of shows that you probably haven't even heard of or watched yet, because there's still plenty of ecchi shows I have never seen, never even heard of, and yet they're out there. So when it comes down to it though, again, 15 years is a long time, and there's been plenty of good characters that's out there and yet more to come. So when it comes down to it, let me know in the comments, what is your favorite character or sets of favorite characters within the last 15 years of anime? And just let me know who is like at the peak of that list, or what show is the peak of that list, because you know, again, 15 years is a long ass time. So when it comes down to it, that's all I really want to say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification way out. Also follow me on the socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. Got no time for no damn $60 scam again. So please send some through Kofi. I am desperate. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.